Alrighty, guys, so while we haven't been talking about it every single week on the channel, I have been keeping up every single week with the Apple TV Plus show Severance, Season 2. Severance was a show, I believe it came out in 2022, and it took the world by storm. It was a very original concept. For those of you who don't know the basic premise, and I also should say before we even get further, I haven't seen the finale of Severance Season 2 as of the recording of this segment. I'm going to see it probably shortly after the podcast is live, so we will be doing a non-spoiler / spoiler reaction, spoiler review of Severance Season 2 in next week's episode of the Access Blockbusters Pod. But today we're just here to talk about the news that Severance Season 3 has been announced, has been greenlit. So Severance Season 3 is a go. But before we get into it, so I just wanted to say no spoilers will be here for Severance Season 2. And frankly, I can't talk about the finale because I don't know what happens in the finale. But we won't be spoiling anything in particular about Severance Season 2 besides the basic story arc. So if you don't want to know, then feel free to click away and come back once you've seen the show, because I would recommend seeing the show. It's a very interesting show. But we'll talk about Severance Season 1. I mean, the show it has such an original concept of basically going to work, and this procedure allows you to have an innie or an inside work personality and an outie or an out of work personality, and they're severed. They're different. So you basically, you go through this elevator, and once you go through the elevator at the office, you go down into the basement and you don't remember. Like, it's a completely different personality, and then you leave and it's the original outside personality. And so in that way, the inside personality is perpetually working, while the outside personality is just out of work, outside of work. And they don't know what goes on the inside of this company. And so Season 1 was really interesting. I will admit, Season 1 ended with a bit of a cliffhanger that left me a little bit unsatisfied. I thought it was interesting, but I don't love shows that just end on a big cliffhanger and say, wait till Season 2 to find out what goes on. And again, it's not a big spoiler for Season 2. It's just the general brushstrokes, the general flow and direction of Season 2. Season 2 has really taken its sweet time to talk about even that cliffhanger at the end of Season 1. And so the fact that we're getting a Season 3, which is, I don't think, a surprise to anyone, unless they were able to wrap up every single loose end at the end of Season 2. And based on the first 9 episodes of Season 2, it doesn't look like that was going to happen. And so naturally, you get a Season 3. And so it looks like Severance is very content to keep the mystery going. Whether or not Severance Season 3 is going to be the last season, as far as I have seen, has not been confirmed. But it is a full go. And they were talking, I believe Ben Stiller, who is the creator and one of the executive producers of the show, maybe he's the creator. I think he's the creator. At the very least, he's the executive producer of the show and director of many of the episodes. I think he said a while ago that, no, we're not guaranteed a Season 3. But to be honest with you, Severance has been one of those shows that's been so in the cultural zeitgeist. It's been so permeating inside people's conversations. And I can speak from my own personal experience that it's interesting. Apple TV Plus, you don't talk about Apple TV Plus as a streaming service, but the shows that they produce are such week-to-week water cooler kind of shows. People were talking about Severance, Ted Lasso. I've been trying to get people to watch Shrinking for the longest time. So Severance has really, really seeped into the pop culture. And to not give it a Season 3, especially if they don't resolve everything at the end of Season 2, I think is crazy. It would be a no-brainer to greenlight it for a Season 3. So it looks like Severance will be coming back for another season, and hopefully we'll get some more answers, because there are a lot of questions still floating up in the air that I suspect will not get resolved at the end of Season 2. Again, just to be clear, I haven't seen the finale of Season 2 as of the recording of this segment, but we will be checking it out and then talking about it in next week's episode of the Access Blockbusters Pod. So guys, what do you think of the news? First of all, have you been watching Severance? What have you thought about it? Do you enjoy the show, or do you think it's a bit confusing? To be honest with you, I think both. I enjoy the show, but there are many moments within each episode that I go, I don't get what's going on. And part of that is part of the reason I suspect that we are getting a Season 3 and 4, and 5, whatever, however long they want to go with the show, but definitely Season 3 to wrap up some of these questions. So what do you guys think about Severance? Let me know in the comments. And also, what do you think about the news that they're getting a Season 3? Let me know in the comments down below.